There's a food you've probably walked past in the market dozens of times, maybe even dismissed as ordinary. But inside it carries a secret more powerful than sardines, more potent than many protein powders, and more healing than some supplements. A food so rich in bioactive compounds that researchers are now calling it one of the most overlooked weapons against sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle that steals strength, independence, and vitality with age. Most people think of sardines when they hear protein powerhouse, and yes, sardines are good, rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and protein. But here is the truth: there is another food that outshines sardines when it comes to building muscle, protecting mobility, and actually triggering your body's own repair systems. This isn't hype, it's emerging science, backed by human studies showing real changes in muscle preservation, strength, and recovery. Before I reveal the food, let's pause for a moment and really understand the enemy we're fighting: sarcopenia. By the time we reach our 60s, most of us are already losing muscle at a rate of 1 to 2% per year. That might sound small, but let it go unchecked for a decade, and suddenly you've lost 20% of your strength. It's why tasks like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or even standing up from a chair can begin to feel harder than they used to. And here's the frightening part: muscle isn't just for moving. Muscle acts like a metabolic organ. It regulates blood sugar, keeps bones strong, even fuels the immune system. Lose muscle, and you don't just feel weaker. You increase your risk for falls, fractures, diabetes, and even earlier mortality. Now, sardines have always been promoted as a solution, mainly because of their protein and omega-3 content. But what if I told you they're a food that gives you not only high-quality protein, but also plant compounds that directly activate pathways inside your muscle cells? Pathways that literally tell your body, don't break down this tissue, build it. Imagine flipping a biological switch from decay to repair, all with a single, affordable food you can find in almost any grocery store. That food is lentils. Yes, humble lentils, the small but mighty legume that has been part of human diets for thousands of years. And yet, only recently has modern science begun to uncover just how powerful they are for preventing sarcopenia. Lentils contain nearly 18 grams of protein per cooked cup, and unlike sardines, they're completely plant-based, easy to prepare, and deeply versatile. But what really sets them apart isn't just the protein. It's the synergy of amino acids, iron, folate, magnesium, and polyphenols. Together, they don't just feed the muscle, they protect it from the silent processes that age it. Polyphenols in lentils have been shown to lower chronic inflammation, which is one of the hidden accelerators of muscle loss. At the same time, lentils deliver slow-digesting carbohydrates that prevent the spikes and crashes in blood sugar that can damage muscle fibers over time. And here's something extraordinary. Studies from aging research centers show that the specific amino acid profile of lentils stimulates the mTOR pathway, a critical switch for muscle protein synthesis. It's the same pathway triggered by resistance exercise. In other words, eating lentils may mimic some of the muscle-preserving effects of working out. Now think about this. In cultures where lentils are a staple, India, parts of the Middle East, and the Mediterranean, rates of sarcopenia are dramatically lower compared to populations that rely heavily on processed foods and animal protein alone. This isn't coincidence. This is food as medicine, working silently, meal after meal, to preserve independence and vitality well into the later decades of life. But there's an even deeper layer here. Lentils are packed with iron and folate, both of which support red blood cell production. Why does that matter for your muscles? Because every contraction of your muscles depends on oxygen delivery. Without strong circulation, without healthy red blood cells, your muscles starve and weaken. By supporting your blood, lentils indirectly supercharge your strength. Sardines can't do that. And if you're worried about satiety, lentils have another gift. Their unique blend of fiber and protein keeps you full for hours, preventing the snacking patterns that lead to weight gain and metabolic dysfunction, two of the biggest enemies of strong, lean muscle. Now let's make this practical. How can you use lentils to fight sarcopenia starting tonight? One of the simplest meals is a warm lentil soup with turmeric and black pepper ingredients that further amplify anti-inflammatory effects. Or you can add sprouted lentils into salads, boosting their nutrient profile even higher. Some people even blend cooked lentils into smoothies for a protein boost that rivals any powder, but with the added benefit of fiber and micronutrients. The point is, sardines are good, but they're not the gold standard. The real secret is understanding that certain foods flip the switch inside your biology, telling your body to rebuild rather than decay. Lentils are one of those foods. So here's the bottom line: forget sardines. For preserving strength, protecting your independence, and killing sarcopenia before it steals years from your life, lentils are one of the most overlooked, most powerful allies you can have on your plate. Now here's where things get really fascinating. Researchers studying aging populations noticed something unusual. In certain regions where lentils are a staple, people not only maintain their muscle into their 70s and 80s, they often remain active, mobile, and surprisingly independent. Farmers working in fields, grandparents walking long distances to visit family, even elderly individuals carrying heavy baskets or climbing stairs with ease. These aren't isolated stories, they're part of entire cultural patterns. And the common thread isn't sardines or steak, it's lentils. Why does this matter? Because sarcopenia isn't just about muscle, it's about dignity. It's about being able to carry your grandchild without fear of dropping them, to bend down and tie your shoes without needing help, to step onto a bus without worrying that your legs won't support you. When we lose muscle, we don't just lose tissue, we lose freedom. And once that slips away, life begins to shrink. That's why the discovery that a simple, inexpensive food can directly counter sarcopenia is not just nutritional trivia, it's a lifeline. Let's zoom in deeper on the science. Muscle loss accelerates because two things are happening at once. Your body is breaking down protein faster than it can rebuild, and the signals that tell your muscles to grow become weaker with age. Think of it as a leaking bucket. Sardines can help fill the bucket with protein, yes, but the leak is still there. Inflammation, oxidative stress, and weak anabolic signaling. Lentils, however, address both sides. They fill the bucket with high-quality plant protein while simultaneously patching the leaks. Their antioxidants neutralize oxidative stress, their polyphenols calm inflammation, and their amino acids reignite the very signaling pathways that tell muscle fibers, repair, grow, stay strong. Now let's add another layer: affordability and accessibility. Sardines are not always appealing. They have a strong smell, a strong taste, and they can be inconvenient for daily meals. Lentils, on the other hand, are shelf-stable, inexpensive, and adaptable to any cuisine. Whether you enjoy Mediterranean, Asian, or Western cooking, there's a place for lentils at your table. Imagine a hearty lentil stew in the winter, a fresh lentil salad in the summer, or lentil patties that taste like comfort food but function like medicine. This is the beauty of lentils. They don't just nourish you, they fit seamlessly into your lifestyle. And here's something most people don't know. Lentils contain leucine, one of the most critical amino acids for muscle building. Leucine is like the ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. Without it, even high-protein meals won't trigger the same rebuilding response. This is why some people eat lots of protein but still feel weak. They're missing the spark. Lentils provide that spark naturally. Sardines contain leucine too, but when you look at the whole nutritional package, protein, fiber, antioxidants, minerals, and polyphenols, lentils win the race every time. Now you might be wondering, can a plant really be as powerful as fish? And the answer is not only yes, it can be more powerful because it does more than one job. Think about it. Sardines give you protein and omega-3s. Lentils give you protein, fiber, blood sugar control, iron for oxygen delivery, folate for cell repair, magnesium for energy production, and polyphenols for inflammation control. This is like comparing a tool that only hammers nails to a tool that builds an entire house. But let's get practical again. Scientists studying muscle preservation recommend at least 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal to optimally stimulate muscle repair in older adults. 1 cup of lentils gives you nearly 18 grams, and when paired with rice or quinoa, you've got a complete protein that rivals any animal source. Add in some spinach or kale, and you've created a muscle-preserving, anti-aging powerhouse meal. without any of the cholesterol, heavy metals or preservatives that sometimes come with sardines. Let's also talk about digestion. Many older adults struggle with digestive issues that make heavy proteins like red meat or even fish difficult to process. Lentils, when cooked properly, are gentle on digestion, provide prebiotic fiber that feeds healthy gut bacteria, and create an environment that enhances nutrient absorption. In other words, lentils don't just give you nutrients, they make sure your body can actually use them. Now picture this. You're sitting at the dinner table, a simple bowl of lentil stew in front of you. As you eat, you're not just filling your stomach, you're sending signals deep into your biology. You're telling your body to keep its muscles, to fight inflammation, to stabilize blood sugar, to keep oxygen flowing, and to keep your mind clear. With each bite, you're rewriting the story of aging in your body. This is the hidden power of food as medicine. And it's why lentils, not sardines, deserve the spotlight in the fight against sarcopenia. Here is the shocking truth. Most people trying to protect their muscles are making the same protein mistakes without even realizing it. They think they're doing the right thing, drinking protein shakes, eating eggs every morning, grilling chicken or fish, but the way they're consuming protein is actually working against them. And this is why, even with effort, their muscles keep shrinking. The first mistake is timing. Many people load their protein at dinner, thinking one big meal will make up for the rest of the day. But muscle doesn't work that way. Muscle repair is like a switch. It only turns on for a few hours after protein is consumed. If you wait all day and then eat most of your protein at night, you've left your muscles starving for hours, and that repair switch has been off. By then, much of the daily damage has already been done. Lentils solve this because they're easy to eat at any meal. You can add them to breakfast as a savory porridge, enjoy them at lunch in a salad, or blend them into a soup for dinner. They make protein timing simple and consistent. The second mistake is over-relying on animal protein. Animal proteins like steak or sardines are complete, yes, but they often come with baggage, saturated fats, cholesterol, and even environmental toxins like mercury or microplastics in fish. Over time, these can harm circulation, damage arteries, and ironically reduce the blood flow your muscles need to thrive. Lentils, on the other hand, give you clean protein without the baggage, and when paired with whole grains, they provide all the essential amino acids your muscles crave. The third mistake is ignoring inflammation. People think muscle loss is only about protein, but it's also about inflammation silently chewing away at tissue. If your diet is high in processed foods, refined sugar, or unhealthy fats, the inflammation inside your body is like a slow fire, constantly burning muscle from within. Sardines may help slightly with their omega-3s, but lentils go further. Their polyphenols act like fire extinguishers, calming inflammation at the root and preserving muscle tissue before it can be lost. The fourth mistake is forgetting about digestion. As we age, stomach acid often declines, which makes breaking down heavy proteins harder. That's why many older adults feel bloated or sluggish after a steak or even eggs. If the protein isn't digested, it can't reach your muscles. Lentils are different. When cooked, they're soft, easy to digest, and their fiber supports a healthy gut microbiome, something research shows is critical for nutrient absorption and even muscle metabolism. A healthy gut equals stronger muscles. And the fifth mistake is ignoring micronutrients. Protein alone doesn't rebuild muscle. You also need iron to carry oxygen, magnesium to fuel contractions, and folate to repair DNA inside your cells. Sardines don't cover all these bases, lentils do. This is what makes them so extraordinary. They are not just protein, they are protein plus the supporting cast of nutrients that make protein effective. Now pause for a moment and imagine this. You're in your 70s or 80s, walking up a set of stairs. You're holding onto the railing, but suddenly you realize you don't really need it. Your legs feel steady. Your body feels lighter. Your steps are confident. That's not wishful thinking. That's the reality of feeding your muscles correctly, avoiding these 5 mistakes and using foods like lentils as your daily weapon against sarcopenia. But here's the catch. Even with lentils, there are traps to avoid. Because if you combine them with the wrong foods, you could sabotage their benefits without even realizing it. And that's what we need to talk about next. The hidden combinations that weaken their power versus the smart pairings that supercharge their muscle-building effects. Here is a truth almost nobody talks about. Even the best muscle-protecting food can lose its power if you combine it with the wrong thing. It's like pouring clean water into a dirty glass. Suddenly, the purity is gone. And when it comes to lentils, there are food pairings that either unlock their full potential or quietly rob you of their benefits. The first bad pairing is refined sugar. Imagine eating a lentil soup, but then finishing the meal with a sugary dessert. That sugar spike floods your bloodstream with glucose, forcing insulin to surge. High insulin not only stores fat, but also blocks muscle protein synthesis. In other words, that beautiful lentil protein you just ate, wasted. But here's the good news. If instead you finish with berries, blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries, you flip the script. Berries enhance insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and amplify the very muscle-building signal lentils deliver. The second bad pairing is processed meat. Some people add sausage or bacon to lentil dishes for flavor. But processed meats carry nitrates, preservatives, and high levels of sodium that stiffen blood vessels and weaken circulation. Poor circulation means your muscles get less oxygen, less nutrition, and less repair. Swap that bacon for spinach, kale, or even garlic, and suddenly your lentils become a circulation-boosting, muscle-preserving powerhouse. The third mistake is eating lentils with heavy fried foods. Frying introduces oxidized oils that create inflammation. That inflammation cancels out the polyphenols in lentils, the very compounds that fight muscle breakdown. Instead, cook lentils with olive oil or drizzle extra virgin olive oil on top before serving. The polyphenols in olive oil and the antioxidants in lentils work hand in hand, creating a shield around your muscles. Now let's flip to the winning combinations, the pairings that turn lentils into an unstoppable anti-sarcopenia tool. Pair lentils with whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, or barley, and you complete the amino acid profile, creating a perfect protein that mimics the effect of animal protein, but without the baggage. Pair them with leafy greens, and you add vitamin K, which strengthens bones and works with muscle to prevent falls. Pair them with spices like turmeric and black pepper, and you activate anti-inflammatory pathways that literally switch on genes protecting your muscles from aging damage. Picture this: a bowl of lentils with quinoa, spinach, turmeric, and olive oil. To the eye, it's just a meal. But to your body, it's a pharmacy. Protein synthesis triggered, inflammation lowered, blood flow boosted, bone and muscle working in harmony. This isn't just food, this is medicine disguised as dinner. And here's the most powerful part: your body remembers. The more often you create these positive pairings, the more momentum you build. Muscle isn't rebuilt in a single meal. It's rebuilt meal by meal, day by day, until suddenly you notice you're moving differently. You're standing taller. You're carrying groceries without effort. You're reclaiming the strength you thought you lost forever. But this journey isn't just about adding the right foods. It is also about knowing when to eat them. And the timing of lentils, believe it or not, can be the difference between muscle that rebuilds overnight and muscle that slowly wastes away. Most people think muscle is built only in the gym with exercise, but here's the shocker. Your muscles are rebuilt the most not when you're relifting weights, but when you're resting, and especially when you're sleeping. This is why timing your protein matters more than you realize. And lentils, when eaten at the right time, can turn into a nighttime muscle repair signal that works while you sleep. Here's the science. Your muscles go through cycles every day. During the day, you're breaking them down through activity, but at night, your body flips into repair mode. Growth hormone is released, cells get busy repairing damage, and proteins are pieced back together into stronger fibers. The problem? If your body doesn't have enough amino acids available at that moment, it can't rebuild. It's like a construction crew showing up with no bricks. That's why so many people lose muscle overnight. They go to bed without the right fuel. Now imagine eating a simple lentil-based dish in the evening. Lentil soup, lentil stew, or even a lentil salad paired with whole grains. As you sleep, those amino acids are slowly digested and released into your bloodstream. Instead of starving, your muscles are being fed. Instead of shrinking, they're rebuilding. In fact, studies show that protein consumed in the evening is more efficiently used for overnight muscle protein synthesis than the same protein eaten earlier in the day. But it's not just about dinner. Another key timing secret is distribution. Research shows that spreading your protein intake evenly across breakfast, lunch, and dinner maximizes muscle retention. Most people load up at dinner, skip protein at breakfast, and barely touch it at lunch. That pattern leaves muscles underfed for most of the day. The better way, add lentils into multiple meals in smaller portions. A lentil porridge or savory lentil pancake at breakfast, lentil soup or salad at lunch, and a hearty stew for dinner. Suddenly you're feeding your muscles around the clock. Here's another overlooked window. Post-activity. Even if your activity is just a walk, gardening, or light stretching, your muscles become more sensitive to protein afterward. This window of opportunity lasts for about 2 hours. A cup of lentils after activity can work like a recovery drink, restoring glycogen with its slow carbohydrates, while simultaneously triggering protein synthesis with its amino acids. Think of it this way. Protein is like fuel, but your body has specific times when the fuel can actually be burned most efficiently. Get the timing right, and every gram of protein works harder for you. Get the timing wrong, and much of it goes to waste. And here's where lentils outshine sardines again. Sardines may give you protein, but their digestion is faster and less steady, spiking and then dropping. Lentils, with their fiber, provide a steady, sustained release, keeping your muscles bathed in amino acids for hours. That's exactly what you need while you're sleeping, when your body is in repair mode for 6, 7, or 8 hours straight. So the big takeaway? Eat lentils at night to fuel repair while you sleep. Spread them evenly through the day to keep your muscles fed, and use them after even small activities to magnify recovery. This timing transforms lentils from just food into one of the most powerful anti-aging tools you can use. But there's still another secret, one that takes this story even deeper. Because even if you eat lentils at the perfect times, you could still be sabotaging their benefits with one hidden factor most people never think about: how you cook them. As we continue, let's take this discussion deeper and reveal why this muscle-saving food is a true hidden gem, often overlooked in everyday diets. When people think about protecting their muscles after 60, they usually imagine lifting weights, taking protein shakes, or eating meats like chicken or beef. But what science is showing us is that there are whole foods that outperform these traditional sources, not just in the amount of protein they contain, but in how efficiently the body can use that protein to rebuild tissue, strengthen muscle fibers, and maintain energy. This food, unlike sardines, delivers a balanced profile of nutrients without the heavy sodium load or fishy aftertaste that many seniors find difficult. That's important because if something is easy to eat and enjoyable, it becomes a daily habit, and habits are what protect us in the long term. Now, one of the most remarkable features of this food is its ability to deliver not just protein, but also essential cofactors, vitamins, minerals, and natural bioactive compounds that your body actually needs to unlock the muscle-building process. Protein doesn't work in isolation. Imagine trying to build a house with bricks but no mortar. That's what happens when you eat protein without the nutrients that allow your body to digest, absorb, and use it for muscle repair. This food acts like a complete construction kit, supplying both the bricks and the mortar, the materials and the tools. And that's why it has become such a breakthrough in conversations about sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that quietly affects millions of people. Studies show that sarcopenia doesn't just weaken your legs and arms, it sets off a chain reaction. It increases your risk of falling, slows your recovery from illness, reduces your independence, and even shortens lifespan. But here is the hopeful part. When people incorporate foods like this one, high in quality protein and rich in bioactives, into their daily diet, they see measurable improvements in muscle strength, walking speed, and overall vitality. I'm not talking about supplements or pills. I'm talking about something you can find in your grocery store that you can add to breakfast, lunch, or even a snack, and that tastes good. And here's where the real surprise comes in. While sardines have long been promoted as a muscle and bone-protecting food because of their omega-3s and calcium, this other food goes a step further. It not only supports the foundation of muscle, it actually turns on the genetic switches that prevent muscle breakdown in the first place. That's something sardines can't do. This is like installing an anti-theft alarm inside your body, so instead of constantly patching damage, your muscles stay protected from the start. If you're someone who wakes up feeling weaker than you used to, if climbing stairs feels heavier, or if your arms get tired holding even light objects, then understanding the power of this food is essential. Because once you begin using it daily, you'll notice that you're not just eating for energy. You're eating for renewal. Your body will begin to recover its strength naturally, day by day, without having to force yourself into grueling workouts or relying on powders that often upset digestion. Let's reveal it. The food I'm talking about is lentils. Yes, simple, humble lentils. For centuries, lentils have been a staple in cultures around the world, but only recently has science uncovered just how powerful they are for protecting muscle health as we age. And here's the part that shocks most people. Gram for gram, lentils deliver more usable protein than eggs, but with an added bonus, they also provide fiber, minerals like magnesium and iron, and plant compounds that reduce inflammation, something sardines or eggs alone cannot offer. Now, why does this matter for seniors over 60? Because muscle loss or sarcopenia is not just about how much protein you eat. It is about whether your body can use that protein effectively without creating side effects. Animal proteins like sardines can be heavy on sodium, cholesterol, and purines, which strain the kidneys and joints. Lentils, on the other hand, give you muscle-building protein in a clean, efficient package that supports your entire body. They stabilize blood sugar, which prevents the spikes and crashes that sap your energy. They lower inflammation, which protects the small capillaries that deliver oxygen to your muscles. And they carry polyphenols that switch on longevity genes, giving your muscles not just fuel for today, but protection for tomorrow. One of the most fascinating discoveries is that lentils help trigger the release of short-chain fatty acids in the gut. These fatty acids act like messengers, traveling through the bloodstream and telling your muscles to grow stronger and resist breakdown. This is critical because sarcopenia is often accelerated by low-grade, silent inflammation in the gut and bloodstream. Lentils are one of the few foods that target both problems at once. They feed the good bacteria that protect your gut, and they provide the protein that directly repairs muscle fibers. So here's the truth. When it comes to protecting your muscles after 60, it is not about chasing the most exotic supplement or forcing yourself to eat foods you don't enjoy. It is about discovering the hidden power in everyday foods that science has finally caught up to understanding. For years, people believed that eggs or sardines were the gold standard for protein. And yes, they can help, but they come with limits and they don't work for everyone. Lentils, on the other hand, are a quiet superfood. They're packed with more protein than most people realize. They nourish your gut, lower inflammation, and give your muscles the fuel they need to grow stronger every single day. Sarcopenia doesn't just rob people of strength, it robs them of confidence, of independence, and of the small joys of life, like walking without fear of falling or carrying groceries with ease. But the good news is that it is not inevitable. Every single meal is a chance to fight back. And choosing lentils is like arming your body with one of the most powerful tools nature has to offer. So the next time you sit down to eat, remember this. You don't need bone broth, sardines, or expensive protein powders to protect your future. Sometimes the answer is in a bowl of warm, nourishing lentils, the food that builds muscle, defends against sarcopenia, and helps you stay strong and independent well into your later years. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone you love. Because when we share knowledge, we don't just extend lives, we improve the quality of those lives. And that, to me, is the true power of food as medicine.